What's going on, YouTube? I'm Scott from ScottHermanFitness.com, and today I have a special treat for you. Allow me to introduce my business partner, Brian McKay.
How do you do?
Brian's going to be joining us. We're going to start doing some more in-depth conversations about specific topics, and today's topic is going to be diabetes. So my first question to you, and for those who may not know, what is diabetes, Brian?
Scott, diabetes, otherwise known as diabetes mellitus, is a chronic disease with no cure. It's characterized by an abnormally high blood sugar count in the body, and it's due to the body's inability to process that blood sugar.
Now, someone having an abnormally high blood sugar count, is that going to make them hyper all the time, or is that like one of the things that you got to look out for?
Possibly, but really the big thing is diabetes is a chronic disease. So it's something that can be lifelong, and because it's incurable, it takes a lot of time and effort and careful planning to manage the disease.
Wow. So then there must be some other health risks that you have to be aware of then if you have diabetes.
Yeah, in fact, Scott, diabetes, if not managed well, can lead to serious problems such as kidney failure, blindness, and even nerve damage. And another problem with diabetes is, again, if it's poorly controlled, it can ultimately lead to atherosclerosis, which is a fancy term for hardening of the arteries. Hardening of the arteries is the precursor to such conditions as heart disease, hypertension, and stroke.
Wow. So, there's obviously a lot of things, like him saying all that stuff must make you wonder, how prevalent is diabetes in the U.S.? So, is this something that the U.S. has to be very aware of? Is this a very common disease? Very
common. In fact, it's there are probably 17 or more million people in this country that are diagnosed with the disease. But the bad news is there's probably another 10 to 12 million people they estimate that have the disease but don't know they have it.
So at any point in time, there can be 10 to 12 million people who have no idea.
Yeah,
crazy.
There's lots of conditions that people have. High blood pressure is another one that generally don't have any symptoms. Let's hope not. But typically, a person's asymptomatic. There's no obvious signs or symptoms of the disease, so they don't know it unless they have one important test. And that would be a blood glucose test that you can get through your physician. So that would be the thing to do, particularly if your family is, if diabetes is prevalent in the family, so therefore a family history has been established, it's a good idea to get the blood glucose monitor or check with your physician.
Now, I know for me, until I really started getting more involved in fitness and until I became a personal trainer, I never really was aware of diabetes or what it was or how it affected the body. It was a term that I heard, but since becoming a trainer 6-7 years ago, I'm not going to tell you how old I am now. It's a birthday though. Then I started getting into listening to type 1 diabetes and then type 2 diabetes. Are there any other sorts of are there any other kinds of diabetes, or what exactly the differences between type 1 and type 2?
Well, let's just talk about the two most common. You use the terms type 1 and 2. Type 1, which is also known as juvenile diabetes, also known as insulin-dependent diabetes, is diabetes that usually affects young people. Some people are born with diabetes, others develop it, but typically these people are under 30 when they develop that type of diabetes. That form of diabetes, type 1, is usually due to the body's inability to produce insulin at all. So these people are dependent upon insulin, and usually from an external source.
Can I be that external source for my...
Oh, I'd love to inject you with some insulin. No doubt about it.
Can I give away my insulin to all of our YouTube watchers?
Oh, sure. Both of them would be happy to...
I think that's more than 2.
Great. Now, the other form, which is even more common, is the type 2 diabetes, or non-insulin dependent diabetics. These diabetics are usually over 30 years old, and they require some type of a medication, some type of an oral equivalent to insulin to help regulate their blood sugar.
Wow. But just getting back to, what if I could extract my insulin and give it to somebody? What do you think would happen to that individual? Would they turn green and start lifting weights all the time, or
Most likely, that's right. Anything
Would
from
they start-
Scott's body is definitely poisonous.
would they start running on a treadmill at 12.4 miles an hour for 4 minutes and 15
Yeah,
seconds?
most likely they'd be tripping over themselves and not know which end is up.
Well,
Right. You think we can pull ourselves back to this serious discussion, Scott, for a moment?
Okay. Well,
right.
okay. See, if I did have diabetes, what could I do then to self-manage the diabetes to make sure that I don't have any problems? I don't have to be rushed to the emergency room or anything like that. Because obviously, you want to be able to make fitness. Our goal is to make fitness a part of everyone's lifestyle. And now we're talking about the diabetics. What can we do to self-manage?
Well, certainly following your doctor's advice is the first thing to consider. I hope that every diabetic has a physician in charge and is helping you manage, your condition. But what can you do for yourself? Well, plenty of anecdotal evidence suggests that.
Does anecdotal mean good evidence?
Not necessarily good, but there's plenty of evidence out there. That's right. That has proven beyond reproach that losing weight, eating a healthy diet, exercising regularly, these are the things that are most important to help you, that you can do for yourself to manage your disease.
So exercise is then very beneficial, and then a meal plan is very beneficial.
That's right.
And we actually have a meal plan system on scarmanfitness.com where you can input if you do have a special condition such as diabetes, and it'll help you reach your goal and show you how to eat around that condition.
That's right. There are certain foods, and you may have heard of the term glycemic index. There's a list of foods that really can play havoc with your diabetes and the blood sugar. So our meal plan will help you discern, the good from the bad, and what are the foods that will help you best manage your diet to help you best manage diabetes.
And that's great, and that's great information to have. And the next thing is, I've had clients with diabetes, and there were certain things that I could do and couldn't do with them. But for those of you who may have diabetes now and don't know what you can and can't do in the gym, are there any certain general guidelines that they should follow, that our YouTube watchers should follow, to make sure that they don't hurt themselves in the gym?
Well, most of the news is good news. There's really no type of exercise that diabetes should preclude from your workout. You can strength train, you can do cardiovascular exercise, so aerobic, anaerobic, it's all good. It's all good.
So anaerobic is jumping on the pre-core, doing the arc train, the treadmill, the bicycle, elliptical, stuff like that.
Yeah, it really gets down to the intensity. You can do any form of exercise, but if you do it at 100 miles an hour, it's essentially anaerobic. If you do any type of what we term cardiovascular exercise, as long as you're doing it, maintaining a more even tempo, kind of a moderate tempo, then that therefore qualifies as aerobic type exercise. Another way to put that is the intensity of exercise should be equivalent to 70 to 80%, 85% of your age-adjusted heart rate maximum. So again, let me say, good news is cardiovascular exercise, strength training, it's all good. But interestingly, Scott mentioned the term anaerobic. Anaerobic, again, quickly is high-intensity, short-duration exercise.
Kind of like the My Back workout that you might have seen.
Yeah, or that ab workout that you enjoy seeing. Anyway, so the point is if you exercise too intensively, too strenuously, how about that? Then it can actually work against you in that it has an effect to increase your blood sugar. So moderate intensity when it comes to cardiovascular type exercise and even the strength training. Make sure you're doing what we consider like a toning type of a routine, where you're doing moderate weight,
12,
meaning 10, 12, 15 repetitions. 3 to 4 sets per body part would be the right thing to do.
So now that basically covers the precautions that we have to watch out for. Now, another big thing is you have to know where your body is before even going to the gym. And there's different levels of blood sugar that will set off certain flags. And one of them, from what I remember, is if your blood level is around 250, if your sugar is around 250, what should then be done? Should you not go to the gym? Should you stay home? What can you do to lower your blood sugar levels? So you can get some fitness in for the day.
Well, I think the important thing to do is, particularly for those of you who are just starting an exercise routine and you're diabetic, is make sure you have a real good handle on your blood sugar levels. Most diabetics already have some type of a glucose monitor, so I advise that before exercise and after your exercise session that you check your blood sugar. That way you can get a pretty good idea, because exercise can actually have an effect to lower your blood sugar during the workout. So make sure you're not too high when you start or too low. And if you're able to check the blood sugar afterwards, then you have a good idea of what happens with that blood sugar during and after exercise. And you mentioned 250. It's very important to know that if your blood sugar going into a workout is 250 or above, that you shouldn't work out that day at all. In fact, hydrate yourself and adjust your medicines accordingly, but do not work out. 250 is very, very high.
Excellent. And said another way you can make sure that you're maintaining a well-balanced meal plan is you can go to scotthermanfitness.com and you can check out our meal plan system, where again it takes into consideration everything about your body, including special conditions, so you can then eat properly and still maintain a healthy lifestyle. And I'll post that link over in the sidebar.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, it's a very involved subject. It's very in depth, and I discuss this topic more in depth on our website, scotthermanfitness.com. You can go to the list of discussions and find more information about diabetes. I address a lot of other topics about working out and also some medical conditions. Hypertension, heart disease, arthritis, just to name a few. So if you want more information on exercise with certain medical conditions, again, log on to our website.
Yep, and the link will be posted over on the side because it's the forum part of the website where you can actually communicate with Brian and myself. And what we want to do now is, we have the diabetes stuff we're talking about here. We want to now dig into those topics and have more videos for you guys to see to help you learn. And then, go back to scotthermanfitness.com and get in the forum section. That way you can start to communicate. And over time, we want the forum section of scotthermanfitness.com to be a place where a community of people can talk about these subjects. And we'd love to see, if you do have diabetes, we'd love for you to post in there and tell us your stories, or tell us what's helped you, or just general advice that you can give to your fellow community members of the site so that they can help them reach their goals. That's the whole point. The whole point of all of this is to help all of you. So with that, we'd love for you to leave some comments down underneath the video. If you're watching this video on YouTube itself, leave the comments down below. And Brian, would you like to add anything else? Say hello to everybody, and you're going to be sticking around for a while?
Did you get my good side? Oh, there isn't one. Gotcha. No, Scott and I are all about healthy lifestyle and physical fitness. And regardless of what limits you may have, whether they be physical or medical, realize that there is some type of exercise. Exercise is good. It's good for everybody, and will help you find the right dose.
Exactly. So with that, be sure to leave your comments. Show Brian some love. It's his first video. He's doing good. And don't forget to subscribe. More good stuff coming soon all the time. And we'll be sure to, filter through the comments and make sure we answer everything for you guys as well. So on that note, have a wonderful day.
Good night.
See you guys later.